ladies and gentlemen, power is over. But that does not mean for one instant of a second that the fun is over. Without a doubt, you are here because the power is out. So stick around, because it's PowerrrOut. Yeah, it's PowerrrOut.
Putting you on the spot, man. Hit us up with a little intro.
I just learned your intro, the ba 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 ba.
Beauty, friend. Welcome to Tuesday Night PowerrrOut, your live reaction show to NWA Powerrr. Joining me today from my guest co-host, Ian Abel of the rock outfit Ian Abel Band. Dude, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you. Really excited to talk NWA. Last time you and I spoke on the Smark and Friends podcast, we certainly shared a little bond about NWA, and since then I've been wanting to have you on this show, and I'm glad we're able to make it happen today.
Totally. Low key right then, I accidentally had everything going. There's so much happened. I had it in my Safari browser, and I was like, okay, I'm hearing double. That's not right. I just took it down. But yeah, dude, I'm super stoked. We were talking about NWA before, and I'm a fan, so I'm always down to be a part of something like this with someone as cool as you.
Oh, thank you, friend. Yeah, and we have a good episode to really dive into. But before we really go segment by segment, let me know what you've been thinking about this post hiatus version of Powerrr. How have you been enjoying the show and whatnot?
I have. I don't know. It feels like they really haven't, I guess, necessarily missed a beat. To me, the show, especially watching tonight, it feels, I think the way their show is set up, they were able to jump back into it pretty easily rather than less about the theatrics, So I think that they're not necessarily, obviously they have crowd or whatever, but I think it's, since there's not this giant pyrotechnics and things like that, and it's easier to jump right back into and get rocking and rolling. So, I mean, I've been enjoying it.
Absolutely, man. Before our deep dive begins, we got a couple of people to shout out in the comments. Sean Hanza, dude, yo guys, yo to yourself.
That's my dude, let's go.
A buddy of yours?
Yeah, he runs the AEW, the largest AEW playlist on Spotify.
Okay, very cool.
Good guy. Good dude.
So I imagine your music is on there as well, having been featured on AEW television more than once.
Yes, luckily, thankfully, and if ever isn't on there, I'm gonna have to go to Arizona and find him.
The gauntlet has been laid out. We also got a comment from one of Love Wrestling's own Wrestling Plug Inc. John, thanks for joining us. I'm here for Nick Aldis, the rapper. Oh, I cannot wait to get to that. That had me in stitches. Oh my God. But we won't be waiting for that segment long because Nick Aldis has kicked off the show, has been customary in recent weeks. He's out there with Kyle Davis, talks about how great looking he is. The exact quote that had me oh my God. I may not dive, I may not flip, but you can't touch this level of trip.
Yes.
I do not know who wrote that line, but I hope they got a raise. Just a sidebar. Sean has accepted your challenge, so
dude, I'm gonna get whooped. Sean's gonna whoop me.
We'll put it on Love Wrestling. It'll be live on our first pay-per-view stream. So beyond the freestyling rap skills of Nick Aldis, he comes out to address the Adonis versus Murdoch for the national championship situation. He proposes it happens one more time. And as such, he invites Trevor Murdoch to the ring. They have a bit of a showdown. The takeaway here is Trevor Murdoch thinks that maybe Nick Aldis sees Murdoch as a threat to the NWA championship, which is why he keeps distracting him with this national championship opportunity at the expense of Chris Adonis. And of course, they set up a great, very, very easily anticipated main event, 6-man tag, Team Aldis, which will be Sans Aldis. It'll be Latimer, Adonis, and a third person to be named later on against Trevor Murdoch and whoever else he can kind of wrangle up. Last week, they kind of had a similar situation between Trevor Murdoch and Nick Aldis. I always almost say Chris Adonis. Their names are too close.
I feel you on that one.
Yeah, and again, last week it was like a little more convoluted. I thought this one was a lot more straightforward and just like a really good segment, really set things up. And of course, sorry, before we continue, John concludes the rap. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? How could I admit that?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I was too busy about the drips and the lack of flips.
Totally.
Ian, what'd you think of the segment?
Well, I mean, you're never going to go wrong when you start off a show with Nick Aldis, and so the dealer himself. So I loved it. He come out, he said some hilarious things that immediately you jump on. Like, I actually wrote that down and texted one of my buddies that. I was like, you'll never believe, because he wasn't watching live at the time. I was like, Nick Aldis just said this. It's amazing. I'm going to use that. And, but I think you're right when you say that he's, trying to put Trevor Murdoch onto another trail per se, because the cool thing about Aldis and Murdoch, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they both trained under, was it Harley Race?
Correct. Yeah, they've used that in a couple little storytelling details in the past couple of weeks.
And Murdoch's like kind of the big baby face right now, so and of course, like so I don't know, I loved it. Come out and they set the scene for the entire evening. They're like, this is what it's going to be about, and this is what we're getting to. And it was just, I thought it was, it's just classic, old school, good storytelling for a wrestling evening,
Absolutely. I left out an important detail in my, again, there's a lot of, these segments have been so dense. There's a lot of ground to cover. I almost missed that if Trevor Murdoch's team loses tonight, Trevor Murdoch is going to have to sit home for 30 days, lose out on pay, lose out on the work, and the stakes are there. Another quick shout out in the comments. Erica Becker, thanks for joining us, Erica. Another friend of yours?
Yeah. She texted me before. She was like, "Good luck on your interview," and I was like, "You better tune in." But she would also whoop me too. Everyone's joining right now. They're my friends are could beat me up, so I won't talk too much smack.
We might need to make you a regular co-host because you're the draw man. You're bringing in the audience. This is popping.
I would love that.
Count on it, sir. So far, so good. We're having a great time. Of course, Trevor Murdoch accepts the stipulation. We move on to the next segment. We get Sal Rinauro versus Kratos after Kratos was pinned by Saul last week. Saul goes on for an early schoolboy, but Kratos just overpowers him and starts the beatdown. There's a beautiful, oh my God, I've never seen I've seen a suplex like this, but Kratos just did it beautifully. Saul Rinauro is just sitting prone on the ground, picks him up from the suplex from the sitting position. I was like, oh, powerful. May Valentine comes out, Danny Diaz comes out. They all try to get in Saul's favor, trying to stop Kratos from the beatdown. Kratos pretty much just overpowers Danny Diaz. Aaron Stevens comes out. He tries to talk sense into his tag team partner, but the beatdown just continues. And the ref calls for the bell. Oh man, they just established Kratos as an absolute beast here.
He damn near killed him.
yeah. Oh, dude, like at the very end when he's just stomping on his head, I got to give a credit to Saul Rinauro here. He was just selling. Like this beating. It looked convincing when you have a guy like Kratos doing it easy. But Saul Rinauro did the job. He made him look like $1 million monster here.
Yeah, he sold it hardcore. He reminds me a lot of, and this is going obviously my AEW fanship, but he reminds me of Peter Avalon. I'm a big Peter Avalon guy, and he seemed to, especially tonight, really fit the role that he needed to fit. And he's like, yeah, sure. I'll just, I'll get absolutely monkey stomped for everybody to see.
Oh, man, he was just out cold. Sean pops in the comments again. I love what PowerrrR is doing for wrestling right now. I got to agree, man. Like, this is just, I like other promotions, but NWA wrestling is just like the style of wrestling that I really enjoy watching. Everything makes sense. It's logical. And just that's NWA in spades, man.
Yeah, well, NWA kind of, I mean, if you go through pretty much all of wrestling, I was talking to my buddy Daniel R. Hill about this. Incredible actor, friend of Nick Aldis's. So we became friends just by geeking out on that. And we went through the history because he's like an encyclopedia. And we went step by step about how pretty much every promotion has been touched or blessed by NWA.
Yeah. Oh, we're sorry. Could you repeat that last
I
bit?
think I froze
Yeah.
for a second.
No harm.
I said
The
that every promotion's been like blessed or touched or formed almost by NWA, you know. So, but I agree,
absolutely.
NWA is crushing it, and they always find a way to kick ass.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there, man. Like their influence is just like it's legendary. It's their legacy speaks for itself. The post match situation, Strictly Business come out. They welcome Kratos as the third member of the 6-man tag team match. But this, of course, comes after Kratos is getting into Tim Storm's face after he was a deciding factor in last week's match. He's trying to bait Tim Storm into smacking him down and maybe starting a little fight, but Tim Storm does not take the bait. But that sets the table even further for that big main event, which we're going to talk at length about. Yeah, just great television, man. Again, logical. And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say who really also did a great job and really kind of set the tension is my girl Velvet Sky.
Yeah.
You know, her little like ad libs and her little quips and things like that. Like I was loving her over there. I was like, okay, you know, I almost forgot. She's great.
Her commentary has been just top notch since she's gotten in here. I've had some very minor criticisms about volume, and sometimes I think that can be attributed to the production of the show. Sometimes I just can't hear her, but her content, like what she's actually saying, is just A+ material, astute observations, clever stuff. I'm very happy to see Velvet Sky.
Oh yeah, yeah, me too.
Just to take a little weight off your shoulders, Sean popped in, says he's not going to beat you up, but you have to make him a wrestling theme song first. So,
oh, okay, cool. That's how I get out of things. Like, I'll write you some. I'll write you some. Don't hurt me. All right, I accept.
Beauty. I'm glad we could find a peaceful resolution to this conflict that has been plaguing this episode of PowerrrOut. So what's coming up next? We got Slice Boogie and Jax Dane confirming a match that's happening next week. Boogie's talking about his W's at the expense of Jax Dane's L's. Dane emphasizes his quiet demeanor, compares Slice Boogie to a dog that always barks but never bites. Very good contrast of characters. It made me very excited, looking forward to next week's match. And these past few weeks of NWA, I have been lamenting like their need for younger talent. They lost a lot of really good people at the hiatus. They lost Ricky Starks, Zicky Dice. And I think I've been overlooking Slice Boogie. I've been enjoying what I've seen of him. But now I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe this is the guy that NWA needs to invest in right now.
Totally. I love that he tried to piggyback off of what Aldis said. You know, he came in and started talking about the drip, and he said he's got the Balenciagas on. I was like, are we sure those aren't Asics? But whatever. Like, I don't know. You know, I wear cowboy boots. I have no idea. But yeah, that match is going to be. I'm really excited for that one. More excited than I was when I first saw them on screen. I was like, okay. But by the end of it, I was like, you know what? I will tune back in for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been doing a really good job building Slice Boogie, and like I almost missed it. They've just been doing it so seamlessly. Like he cuts a great promo. He's great in the ring. I love his finisher, the dead ass driver. There's just a lot to like about Slice Boogie, and yeah, I think he might be the one to watch in NWA. Yeah, we come back for the TV title match, and Tim Storm conspicuously absent from the commentary table, and I'm already rubbing my hands together thinking about where this is going.
Where did he go?
You a Tim Storm fan?
I do like Tim Storm. I was really happy when Aldis took over, you know.
Sure.
I was like, okay, I think it's a little past the time, but Another one who does a great job on commentary and such. I like Tim Storm. I think everyone should if they don't.
Taste is always subjective, but some people like Tim Storm. I think you should like him.
You should find a way to like him if you don't. That's all I'm saying.
TV title match. Pope is defending. Austin Idol is on the commentary. Pope is unfazed by early mind games in this match, and he starts taking evasive action. And at the start, before starting to use some mind games of his own, Pope is able to line up his opponent. Jumbling my words. Pope is able to line up his opponent. There we go. For his finishing running knee, but Idol distracts, allowing Pope to lose the upper hand. Pope goes on survival mode, and he starts fighting back with a flurry of offense later on in the match. Idol accuses it all of cheating. Pope gets his hands on Idol, but he gets caught by a chokehold by his opponent, and that leads to the 6:05 time limit expiring. Again, Pope may have done some evasive maneuvering in the match. I did some evasive maneuvering in kind of critiquing only half the match. I really like the TV title. It's one of my favorite titles in pro wrestling because like the parameters around it. Yeah.
Agreed. Completely agreed.
Yeah. Like the history is there. The parameters around the title defenses. I just want this program to stop. I want it to move. I want Pope to move on. And unfortunately, it doesn't really seem like that's going to be the case. But ultimately, your thoughts?
So shout out to Pope, who's an OVW guy from back in the day. He used to be able, when I was going to do guitar lessons as a young lad, we would be at the same mall all the time. You'd see him rolling through there, and he was coming up at the time. He's an OVW guy. So got to give mad props out to him straight away. I think Pope had to put on a great match for given who he had to work with, I suppose, and so, but I love I love the time limit. I'm a big fan of that. I think you can write great stories around that, or not stories, but you can write a great match around that, where you're like, okay, the time's over. I win. You didn't beat me in the time. So and again, the history of it all, I'm a fan. And yeah, I agree with everything you said there. But again, shout out Pope, OVW. Let's go.
Again, I'm with you. I'm with you as well, man. Like the time limit just adds so much character to these matches. Like I didn't watch NWA back in the heyday, certainly. But like I always think back to like this, how Arn Anderson would defend the championship as a heel member or the Horsemen, just biding his time, wandering around the ring, waiting for that 10 minutes to expire. It was brilliant stuff. And putting a time limit, just like it leads to those creative little flourishes that they have the opportunity for.
It's just really smart to have something that involves a time limit like that, where you have it's time to win, and the person who's got the belt, they don't want to lose, so they're going to use every opportunity to get out of it.
Yeah,
even if that means running,
Absolutely. Quick question from Sean in the comments. What is Powerrr on again? Is it still on YouTube? Unfortunately, it is migrated from YouTube to the Fight Network. It is now a subscription model, nominal fee of $5.99. I don't know what that. I think it's $5.99 in the States.
Or
here.
Yeah, I think it's $50 a year, $50 for the year, which is that's what I do, because I'm like, oh God, that's so worth it, dude. I won't get coffee for 2 weeks. It's fine.
Meanwhile, I'm up here dealing with the Canadian exchange rate, spending a little more, but NWA makes it worth my money most weeks. So I'm happy with my investment. We return after this match. May Valentine and Kyle Davis introduce a summit between Thunder Rosa and Camille, in which both will have advocates to speak on their behalf. Didn't really see a need for that, but let's see where it goes. Thunder Rosa introduces Melina, while Camille has Taryn Terrell speak for her. Melina asks what I've been wanting to know in recent weeks, in why Camille continued to aggravate Thunder Rosa after decisively defeating Rosa at Back for the Attack. It just didn't make sense to me. To which Taryn Terrell doesn't really answer. She just kind of like speaks around the segment without really adding to it. Taryn Terrell. I almost see like Terrell or something.
Yeah.
Terrell and Camille are baited into putting the number one contendership on the line if Rosa can meet a list of demands that will be presented next week. leads to high conflict. They're separated by Kyle Davis. Little uneven segment for me, but please, the floor is yours first.
Agreed. When they started, I was like, I'm not really sure why we're here right now, and I don't really know why we have to have people speak on behalf of someone else because everyone here can speak. I do get Taryn. Taryn is really great on the mic, so I understand. I was like, okay. I never dislike when she gets on the mic because I think she plays that character up really well. Hardcore Thunder Rosa, especially after her Britt Baker match. So like I'm all in on Thunder Rosa. Anywhere she goes, anything she does, dude, I'm right there following her. So it was, I don't know, it was fine. It was definitely wasn't the highlight of the evening. I actually, until you started talking about it, completely forgot it happened.
Fair.
But I will say this: anytime I get to see Thunder Rosa, I'll be happy with it.
Absolutely. Funny you mentioned the AEW thing. They've been name dropping AEW here and there, especially
I
when
noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool. It was interesting.
We can certainly cross our fingers that leads to bigger things. But for now, with the information we have to work with, again, I agree. Taryn is great on the mic. I thought this was a bit of a miss for her, and I'm not sure if that's like a content thing or what was going on. But I'll tell you, Melina killed it. Holy crap, did she bring the fire on this segment?
Yeah.
I was really hoping that this segment would clarify why Camille continues to target Thunder Rosa, and it failed to do so. So ultimately, the segment kind of failed for me personally, and that's despite like really strong efforts by the likes of everyone involved. It just missed the mark for me, I suppose.
I feel like almost they didn't really know, and they were like, okay, let's just put these people out there and let's see if they can make something of it. And at the end of it, you're like, there's a lot happening, but I'm not really sure what exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. But we return from break and we are at the main event. Intrigue is at high. Who's going to be on Team Murdoch? Of course, Kratos and Strictly Business come out first. Then we get Murdoch coming out. First person to decide. Kratos' tag team championship partner, Aaron Stevens. Huge pop. And then I was hoping for Tim Storm, but it's Sal Renaro, who is just a red herring because Tim Storm is also there. Oh, I was so happy. I was like, yeah, let's fucking go.
That's where he's been. Oh, okay.
And I gotta love like the old school wrestling tropes that like NWA just full on dives into. They're willing to let their commentary team like kind of play it a little dumb, like, oh, where could Tim Storm be? Or, like they play it a little dumb, and that's okay. Like it lets it rewards the audience a little more, I think. So again, match starts with a big brawl. Everyone's fighting all around. The heels are the first to get the upper hand until order is restored. We get separate corners. First two people in the ring, Aaron Stevens and Kratos, the tag team champions, facing off. But they both tag out very early. They do a lot of really great detail work with the tag team champions in this match. Tim tags out. Okay. Wow. I'm looking at my notes right now, and I just realized how much shit happens in this match.
Oh yeah. I was sitting here like, okay, we're gonna go through the whole thing. Let's do
it. Yeah. Let me just like kind of get like spitball these bullet points and get it out of the way. Heels get upper hand. Match starts with the tag champs in opposite corners. Tim Storm tags in. Kratos tags out. Good back and forth until Tim tags out into and lets Murdoch into the ring, who comes in like a house on fire. Damn, like Murdoch is a surprisingly good babyface. Like I had no idea he had this in him. Stevens, he has turned his classic elbow, the Kobito Akiet as he called it in the WWE. He's turned it into a little tribute for the question mark, which is a very touching moment. And if you'll excuse me, my cat is now being a pain.
Bring the cat in.
Everyone meet Ticket. He is the biggest pain. Ow. Okay, now he's clawing at me. Apologies. I hope that at least gets a like for the cat abuse.
You guys can be on the undercard of mine and Shance's match.
Beautiful. We're setting up the first main event Love Wrestling pay-per-view. I am looking forward to this already. Eventually, this all kind of leads to to Aaron Stevens playing Ricky Morton. He starts like getting the beat down from everyone, and the heels are doing a great job cutting the ring in half. Finally, Aaron Stevens tags out. Tim Storm comes in once again. Another house on fire. Saul Renaro, he gets on the apron. He distracts Tim Storm, allowing Adonis to hit the full Nelson Slam, get the 1, 2, 3, and Trevor Murdoch is banished from NWA Powerrr for the next 30 days.
Yeah, he's got quarantine. He's gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean just popping in, no holds barred. I assume that's for me and my cat, and I don't know. That's too scary.
Ticket's the favorite now.
Again, just a great match, man. There was so many like great detail work, especially between the tag team champions. At one point, Aaron Stevens instinctively went to tag in Kratos. Kratos wouldn't tag in when his partner was the one getting the beat down. Really good storytelling there. And ultimately, man, like I think this is setting up a big main event run for Trevor Murdoch, especially with the pay-per-view coming down the road.
Totally. Yeah, because they're setting one up. You're like, man, are the tag champs? Are they going to split? You're like, and they're beefing a little bit, but then Kratos isn't tagging in to take an opportunity. You're like, oh, okay, well, you just swerved me there. So I'm not really sure what that's going all about. But now you got Murdoch because they lost. So Murdoch's going to be gone for 30 days. And is he going to come back and go on a title run, or at least an attempt for it? Mm-hmm. You'd assume so, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have to assume that the pay-per-view, which was just announced like today or yesterday, should be happening in June. So that's that's more than Trevor Murdoch's 30-day suspension. I suspect he'll be back to main event that against Nick Aldis.
Totally. I hope he doesn't win, because I think, what is it? Aldis is approaching 1,000 days, like 1,000 days of his reign as champion or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so obviously as an Aldis fan, I want him to keep it.
I think I'm with you. Absolutely. I like Trevor Murdoch. I really do. I think he's a super strong baby face. Like, he is surprising me to no end every week. He just seems to get better and better. But yeah, in spite of how good he is, I don't know if he's the right guy to dethrone all this either. I think I'm with you about hitting 1,000 days as champion. I think that's important.
Who do you want, or who would you love to see dethrone Aldis?
Oh, that's a tough one, man. I don't know if it's anyone that they have in-house, to be honest. Like, I don't know if it's someone in the NWA roster, unless they want to spend like more time building up Slice Boogie, and I hope they do. But even that's going to take some time, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, if I could like spitball like huge pipe dream here, that's
what we want. Spitball it.
I would say Chris Hero, actually. I think Chris Hero would be a great fit for the NWA. Right now, my camera is shaking. Once again, my cat's causing trouble, so I apologize. But I think Chris Hero fits the NWA mold without like having been poured into it. I think he's still just different enough that he would stand out. Plus, he's got the name value. And again, I have nothing to base that on. I haven't heard rumors. I have no idea what Chris Hero has been up to, other than like a fantastic podcast. Anyway, Chris Hero and NWA. I think NWA could use a hero.
That was really nice. That was really nice.
Thank you. How about you? Like, top of your head.
Oh, okay. So I was actually talking with my friend Daniel about this again earlier, and again, I haven't heard anything either. But my dreams would be, I would. It sounds crazy. A CM Punk would be cool. Ooh, I'm thinking someone on that level who can really take him down and be like a CM Punk. We've been watching the booking of Daniel Bryan, and it's not been good. You know, if he got to escape and go somewhere, I think he would be incredible. Obviously, I'd love to see a Cody Aldis 3. Mm-hmm. A Cody Aldis 3 would be sick, and I would not put it past, given how they've been going back and forth, and they even brought up AEW tonight. I would not put it past them if we saw like Omega and Aldis at All Out, which would be insane. I'd be backflipping. I can't even backflip, but I would figure it out for everyone.
Would you try to get your foot back in the door with AEW? Say, hey, Need a song for Aldous Omega?
Oh, for sure. You kidding me? Heck yeah, I would.
Well, both of our picks are huge hits with Sean, whose Loved Chris Hero would be awesome. I've seen him wrestle once, and I'd love to see him on a NWA. I'm with you right there, clearly. And Punk would be sick. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Punk would be so sick.
I don't think you can go wrong with any of these matches, but, we're just pipe dreaming at this point. But who knows? All in all, NWA Powerrr episode, I want to say 27. What'd you think?
Over the, oh my God, I just totally blanked. That was bad. I had like a mental freeze.
Dude, no harm at all.
I'm just happy that, given everything that happened over the past year and stuff, that we're back to watching, we're watching NWA. We got slowly starting to get fans trickling into AEW, and I'm just stoked to see. I watched like the UFC this weekend. They had a packed house, and I was like, oh, dude, we are so close to normality. I'm just stoked for everything that's coming together right now. But as far as our PowerrrOut tonight, this was a blast. As far as the NWA Powerrr that we watched earlier, I think besides a couple of moments, I think they're really rolling, and they're really doing some great storytelling and sending us down a direction that generally it will pay off, and it'll be fun to watch as an audience member.
Absolutely. I'm with you 100%, man. Since they've returned from the hiatus, I thought NWA has been good. This was the first episode I thought that they captured the magic that they had pre-hiatus, like in their YouTube incarnation of the show. And that leaves me after this episode, in spite of some certain people I'd rather not see on my television, this was a strong episode top to bottom, and it makes me very excited for next week. And that's it's a very exciting feeling to have about wrestling.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And again, Sean's with you, man. How can you not be excited that people are returning to shows now that we're returning to some degree of normalcy? Ian, wonderful chatting with you. I'm so glad you were able to join us on PowerrrOut. Before I let you plug your social media handles and whatnot, I want to thank everyone who tuned in live, be it on YouTube, be it on Twitch, be it on Facebook, whether you're joining us after the fact or whether you're joining us on the podcast. Thank you so much for listening to PowerrrOut on Love Wrestling. Ian, the floor is yours. Please let the audience know where they can follow you on social media, Spotify, whole kit and caboodle. Where you at?
So at all social medias, we are at Ian Abel Band, IANABELBAND. We're even on TikTok. I think Sean's pretty much my only real fan on TikTok. Likes everything. He's a great guy. We're on everything, and I just got the first T-shirt design in. We're with we set up with Below the Collar, which is the sister store to Pro Wrestling Tees. They rep. Fozzy does all their merch. And so if I can share it real quick, I'm so stoked on it.
Please, yeah.
This is our first T-shirt design coming. Oh, there it is. Boom. Outlaw for everybody. And a little name right down there. But
beautiful.
I'm stoked on it. So we're going to get those up and running. And I got to figure out, I don't know how long, but it's within the next couple weeks, those should be up and running. So everybody be looking out for that.
You can count on us to drop the links because that is an exciting announcement, sir. It's a beautiful shirt.
Thank you. It's all praise to Wes Henry. He does my graphics and everything. Without him, I would be hand drawing stuff and it would be awful.
Dude, once again, thank you so much for your time tonight. Before I let you go, and before we let the audience go, we're going to introduce you all to a clip of Ian's interview with the one and only Spencer Love of the Love Wrestling, the Love Wrestling captain, the man himself, the namesake of the website. Thanks for tuning in, and we're going to see you next week for a new episode of PowerrrOut.
I think a lot of those, though, really do tie into the professional wrestling sense of things. I want to start with the most recent addition to the, pro wrestling repertoire, though, because when you wrote, or when you commented last on Not Afraid to Die, you said that was the song that you first thought was going to get picked up by AEW. So maybe give me a little bit of history on that and why you thought it was so cool and why I think a lot of pro wrestling fans thought it was so cool to see it featured at Full Gear 2020.
I think I think that it was used better at Full Gear.
Mhm.
So I'd been talking to Cody and Brandy, and Michael Kulari was in the conversation, and then a few other emails. I have no idea who they are. They're behind the scenes people. So here I am talking to these people, and I'm thinking we're talking about the song "Not Afraid to Die," because I'd went in after I sent them shoes, and I sent them a couple others to show that like what we kind of sound like. And I went in that weekend with my friend John Graber and another buddy Reed, and I'd written the chords, I'd written the melodies, I'd written the lyrics, everything was there. And we just went in and said, okay, let's figure this out. And we pretty much laid everything down. And what you hear on Not Afraid to Die, we did in one day. And which is pretty cool to get in there. And I mean, my friends are incredible at engineers and mixers, and so I got lucky there. But we just laid down the acoustic, sang a vocal that I thought was going to be like a scratch track to then recut, and John was like, "Nah, man, that's it, dude." And I was like, "Okay, cool." Right. And then
the Georgia Satellites theory, right?
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay, crap. I would have sang better. I don't know," but. And so then we mixed it and I sent it over Sunday. Monday, we start talking more, and that's when we're leading up to Double or Nothing. And I'm thinking the whole time that we're talking about Not Afraid to Die. And then actually, Cody emails me all caps and says, I want shoes. And I said, oh, okay, this is different. I'm not prepared. Brandon, get some shoes, okay?
Well, whatever you want, boss.